The best card in Hearthstone history was a 1-mana 1/1, and you might have heard of this card before. Patches the Pirate, known for the iconic voice line of "He isn't in charge now." Why was this card so strong, and how did the Hearthstone team decide to kill it? To answer that, let's look into the history of what I believe is the strongest Hearthstone card of all time. The weirdest thing about this card is that when you draw it, your win rate goes down significantly. Look at these stats by Disguised Toast, by the way. For classes that played patches, if you drew it in your opening hand, your win rate would go down by 25%. One card lowers your win rate by 25%. Can you imagine that? When patches was first released, look how many classes played patches. You can see it in 62% of Shaman decks, 88% of Rogue and Warrior decks. Disguised Toast found that you see patches in 71% of the games you played. And the craziest thing is that Patches the Pirate was never supposed to be released. At least not in the expansion it was actually released in. The card was released officially in 2016, but the first idea of patches was actually made in 2014. The patches we have right now has the effect of being summoned from your deck when you play a pirate. But in 2014, it was originally planned to be played from your deck when you played a dragon. It was known as Dragon Whelp, and it was supposed to be a non-legendary card that was a 1/1 dragon in the Blackrock Mountain set. And being a non-legendary card, that means you could have 2 of them in your deck. But since at that time, a fairly strong card of Fairy Dragon was available in the game, so imagine that you play a Fairy Dragon in turn 2 and then boom, 2 Dragon Whelps. Bleh. So from there, the developers considered making the card a Murloc, since Murlocs love swarming the board. They also experimented with making the card a legendary and having a 2/1 stat line instead of a 1/1. But they settled on the 1/1 for reasons we'll look at later. The Murloc design looked pretty good for the Grand Tournament set, which had a lot of Murlocs in it. But while considering the card design to be a Murloc, they finally decided that making it a pirate would be the most fun for the card. They originally planned to release this card in the Grand Tournament expansion, which was released in 2015. But they decided against it because there was some really good pirate synergy in that expansion and they didn't want pirates to be too strong. Cards like the One-Eyed Cheat and Ship's Cannon were really good, and of course, adding a pirate from your deck, boom, 2 damage, that sucks. It was also the introduction of game formats, that being standard and wild. Since One-Eyed Cheat was actually going into wild, they decided, hey, you know, it wouldn't be that bad. But they didn't want wild to be a super problematic power fest. Look how that one turned out, huh? There was even art for Patches the Pirate, but it wasn't the same art we have today. Looking at the expansion's trailer, you can see 2 pirates. We know these today as Sky Captain Craig and Captain Scaleblade, but before, one of those were considered to be Patches the Pirate. Not Patches the Pirate entirely, it was just the effect. Here's the thing about Hearthstone design, they make a lot of designs. They have a lot of card arts and they just kind of decide where they want to put the effects. All this confusion led to the end result of Sky Captain Craig being put in the Grand Tournament expansion and then Captain Scaleblade just getting dumpstered. The summon this minion from your deck when you play a pirate effect was still on the shelf. It was not ready to be played yet. The card effect was just too strong. There was even pirates that they had planned that they didn't release because they thought it would be too strong with patches. What these pirates are, we don't know. Maybe they're played today, who knows? So this effect of getting summoned when you play a pirate was never played because of the pirate synergy being too strong. So naturally, 2 expansions later, they would make a really good pirate. And even more naturally, it cost 1 mana! N'Zoth's First Mate. This card is essential for Patches the Pirate. I've just been saying this is a 1-mana 1/1 card that summons from your deck. That's not that good. There's something I did not mention. This card was nerfed hard. Patches the Pirate used to have charge. I know with Hearthstone balance today, 1 damage on turn 1 doesn't seem that good. This was released in 2016. That's not 1 damage on turn 1, that's 2 damage on turn 2. That's how linear relationships work, I guess, but so not only can it deal 1 damage the turn you play it if you don't forget to attack with it, but it summons a 1/1 pirate from your deck and it has a really cool voice line, so of course it's amazing for aggro decks. But there's another reason why this card was extremely good, and the best way I can show you is by shooting you. You want a 1 in 30 chance of this bolt to hit you or a 1 in 29 chance for this bolt to hit you. That's what Patches the Pirate does. Not only does it make you get a 1/1 on the board really early, it removes 1 card from your deck. And in an aggro deck, getting good cards is so good because you're going to run out of cards eventually. You want every single card you have to be the best draw you possibly can. It was so good of an effect that some non-aggro control decks would play it. Not only do you get a board to deal with the early game on your turn 1 or 2, you also make your deck better to play. So the card's great for aggro, it's great for control, deals 1 damage, woohoo, everyone loves it. What made this card go over the top to need to be killed? The first thing I'll say is that it wasn't just one event that made this card absolutely need to be nerfed. You know, the Hearthstone devs weren't playing Hearthstone and they saw patches and they got really mad and they're like, you know what, we need to nerf this card. No, that's abuse of power. They know Blizzard would do that, right? But a card released in the next expansion, the Journey to Un'Goro expansion, just made this card too strong. The Caverns Below. Play 4 minions of the same name and you get a crystal core. AKA, turn 1, play Swashbuckler. Oh, bring it back. Swashbuckler. Bring it back. Play another Swashbuckler. Bring it back. Oh, maybe if you get lucky, you get some super cool cards. Some people play Prince Kelseth, and all of a sudden your patches that came for free on the board, it's now a 2-2 instead of a 1-1. You could bring it back with this card. Pretty much the only time this card ever saw play, but you could. At that point of the game, having charge was just too much for patches. But the worst part about this, the voice line doesn't even match anymore. Yahar! He's not in charge now. And with that, the reign of Patches the Pirate was over. You thought, no, this card's still good. And if you gave it charge, it'd probably be still a powerful card. How good it is relative because Wild's kind of crazy. But in a certain token and aggro decks, this card is still viable, and I will show you why. Also, your little bit of trivia, this card's named after Patchy the Pirate from SpongeBob. That's your treat for staying this long into the video. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you like the content so far. Woohoo. Token Druid, a tried and true deck. And on turn 1, guess what I gotta do? A mistake. That's me right there. Oh no, there's the real star of the show. But seriously, I get my patches on turn 1, and then I get my saplings on turn 2, and there's the big board on turn 2. 5 minions on turn 2. Oh my goodness, Wild is insane. The Druids force the hero power. They can't really do anything. It's really good too, especially since I'm going against a Druid. I also get to not buff my board because I'm bad at the game and I don't draw well, but 5 damage on turn 3 is okay for me. They're gonna coin out an Overgrowth. Big woohoo, yay. That's not an Overgrowth, what the heck? But my plan still remains the same, and that is to do this. Boom! This one was a bit slow, but don't worry about that part. You know, he's trying his best. And I Smork Face. Look how much damage that is. 11 on turn 4. And all they can really do is just try to remove my minions with the board. And that's all because I have this insane flood. Patches dealt 1, 2, 4 damage so far this game. That's like an 11th of the Druid's health. That's really bad once you think of it. But when you buff it again, it does more damage. And they feel bad about themselves. I probably could have traded there. Whoops, my bad. But you can see just having this extra 1 minion on the board did so much for my deck. Reno Jackson, it doesn't matter. And I'll show you why it doesn't matter. Because I just do this again. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 25 damage to the face that turn. It would have only been 20 if I had... Oh, that's a really good draw for me. It would have only been 20 if I didn't have patches on the board. 1 minion does a lot in token decks. Yeah, it was wild. The deck's strong without patches. In editing, I'll show you how much damage that 1 patches did. It didn't get removed since turn 1. It was there since turn 1. Yeah, sure, it could have done 1 more damage because of the nerf and it doesn't get charged. Yeah, it used to be better and all of that stuff, but it's still a pretty good card. This is what I say is the best Hearthstone card of all time. But if you want to see the best design Hearthstone card of all time, you should check out this video right here where I go over another great Hearthstone card. Subscribe if you like the video. Thanks for watching. See you around. Bye bye bye.